Look at the power of those blades throwing water
Their destination
out
tonight,
at the center
the medical
there,
bay here,
the front porch
on the ship,
with now 3 astronauts
right after
and the recovery specialists.
we power down the helicopters here.
Again, crews already outfitted with a harness vest.
The team
And
on the
here we
flight
go.
deck.
Second
Working
astronaut now
quickly,
off the
but
front
methodically.
porch, getting hoisted into the second helicopter. That helicopter will now hover just a
Waiting for
distance
just
away
one more
to give
helicopter
room
to
for
touch down.
the first helicopter to come back and pick up the third astronaut. As we wait for that helicopter to come back, make its way back around, just want to mention that the President of the United States here on the flight deck, our NASA administrator, today while he was on the ship, just minutes after we interviewed him
as that
live
third helicopter touches
on our
down,
coverage, and congratulated him and NASA on this history-making moment tonight. Helicopter 1 again hovering 40 feet over the front porch. We will soon see another recovery specialist getting lowered onto the front porch.
While just a few folks on the flight deck itself, there are plenty more on some
sitting on that front porch, the wind, the
some of
water.
our views.
But again, the recovery team determined that a helicopter flight back to the ship here
over the ship's
would be
loudspeaker
safer,
system,
faster,
reminding
and more comfortable
folks
for our crew
to stay clear of
just
operational
completed
areas
a
like the
10-day
flight
mission
deck.
around the moon. Third astronaut
So that
in the
teams
air,
can work quickly to get the
getting
crew
hoisted
off of the
quickly back
helicopters and into the medical
into the
bay.
first helicopter now. That first helicopter now on its way back to the ship here. We will soon see it land in just
Splashdown
a few minutes.
today, 5:06
Again, all this action happening
Pacific
just
time.
3,000 yards away from us, so a very quick flight back to the
We are
flight
within
deck.
2 hours of that splashdown time.
And already we have all 4 crew
Now
members
the only person left
on
on
the
the
flight
front
deck
porch, Commander
of the
Reid
USS
Wiseman.
John P. Murtha. That second helicopter now making its way back over to the front porch. Again, crew waiting. Here it comes. Before getting out for the helicopters to completely shut down. Safety, of course, making its final approach
NASA and
here.
the U.S. military.
So we'll wait just a couple of minutes here before we start seeing crew members walk off the helicopters one by one. The last astronaut, Commander Reid Wiseman, now off the front porch and almost into the second helicopter. Both now on their way back to the ship where we are, the USS John P. Murtha, just west of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean. Exciting to see our 4 crew members minutes away from landing on the flight deck here on the recovery ship. 550 people on this ship, excited, ready, anxious, looking forward to welcoming this crew aboard. Watching them now with our own eyes. Close to the ship here. Hearing them begin to hover.
And now here we see
on the flight deck, which is just across from us, here on the bow.
And mission specialist Christina Koch sitting on the edge of one of the helicopters, looking in great spirits.
Coming in.
That familiar smile and laugh from Victor, I can see it from here. Christina, I'm sure, feeling the same way, just blocked a little bit by our camera here, but we'll see her here shortly. A photographer taking their pictures. Victor saluting folks on the flight deck. They look like they're in great spirits.
And wheels
Happy
down.
to be home, I'm sure.
Wheels down of the first helicopter carrying 2 of our Artemis II crew.
If you're sitting at home, I hope you too are wondering, what would you want to ask them if you got a chance to talk to them, because that is what I'm thinking about. Getting the opportunity to talk to
on the recovery loop,
or ask questions of these 4 astronauts who just made history as the first crew to return to the moon
with one another
since 1972.
And an announcement just made on the ship, integrity incoming. 2 more helicopters on their way to the flight deck, one carrying the crew, the other, one of our imagery helicopters.
Oh, there we see Christina there, also smiling, finally peering out, waving at the cameras.
Beautiful views.
Hello to you too, Christina, yes.
Of history in the making.
Welcome back. Welcome, welcome home.
Set amid a gorgeous,
a loudspeaker announcement on the ship saying, welcome home, integrity.
In the Pacific Ocean. Second helicopter.
Victor in great spirits. I can't see who he's talking to, but I kind of think that he might be talking to his other 2 crew members.
Making its approach at the flight deck.
Shouting from across the flight deck, congratulations to one another.
Plenty of people here on the bow with their cell phones out, filming this moment.
And so now we see some Navy personnel walking up to the helicopter. This is again the first helicopter carrying pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Koch.
Some impressive
Both have taken off their helmets now.
As we are seconds away from wheels down. And there you go. We now have all 4 Artemis II crew members on the USS John P. Murtha.
Some pictures, video, to catalog this historic moment.
I'm sure they're happy to be out of the water.
A beautiful sunset just behind them here in the Pacific Ocean. Golden hour.
On this recovery ship with, again, 550 people on board, ready to welcome them home.
Now we see NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. He is on the flight deck, as well as flight surgeon Rick Schuring, walking over to Victor and Christina first. We saw the administrator walk over to the other helicopter, which is carrying Commander Reid Wiseman and mission specialist Jeremy Hansen. We heard from Rick earlier in the broadcast. Again, he said he's going to be out there on the flight deck
on the ship
to do another initial assessment of the crew, ask them how they're feeling.
We power down the helicopters here.
Anything bothering them? But again, from what I'm seeing, they look like they're in great spirits and feeling pretty good. For folks who just traveled
working quickly,
695,000 miles from Florida to the moon, and now here to the Pacific Ocean.
Waiting for just one more helicopter to touch down.
We're now seeing NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman walking across the flight deck. He had been talking to Reid and Jeremy, now approaching Victor and Christina.
Here on the flight deck.
A hug from Victor, a hug from Christina. What a moment that we're getting to experience together. I'm sure congratulatory words. You know, we got to speak to the administrator live on this broadcast as well, and he said the kid in him right now, giddy, absolutely giddy. we were able to accomplish today. Returning them
just a few folks
safely
on the flight deck itself,
and in good spirits
more on some
after a 10-day mission around the moon.
Some of our views.
And here we go. We're seeing Jeremy walking, waving across the flight deck, now on his way to the medical
system,
bay.
Reminding folks to stay clear of operational areas like the flight deck.
It's a short walk. Less than a minute.
So that teams can work
Again, that's why the recovery team decided to use helicopters to get them on the flight deck. For that short walk to medical bay. And now on the flight deck, we see the chief of the astronaut office, Scott Tingle.
Splashdown today, 5:06 p.m. Pacific time.
Rick Shuring switching places. He's going over to the other helicopter.
Big hugs.
Big hugs.
Of that splashdown
from Victor,
time.
Christina,
and already we have all 4 crew members
to Scott
on the flight deck of the USS John P. Murtha.
Again, a gorgeous sunset, setting the stage for this recovery tonight.
Again, crew waiting before getting out for the helicopters to completely shut down.
All right, and now here we are, Christina.
Safety, of course, very important to NASA and the U.S. military.
Looking thankful, grateful, happy to be home.
So we'll wait just a couple of minutes here before we start seeing crew members.
You can see she's looking up again. Lots of people,
helicopters,
just a few levels up off the flight deck, welcoming her home. Scott holding the door like a gentleman, but back on his way to the other crew still on the flight deck. So still on the flight deck, Victor Glover and Reid Wiseman. It looks like Victor will be the next one headed to medical bay. More hugs, more hugs. He's a hugger. Victor looking good as he walks across the flight deck. NASA administrator applauding. Victor applauding for all the folks on the ship with him who played a role in their safe return today. And finally, just one Artemis II crew member. All right, left on the flight deck. Now here we see pilot Victor Glover, Reid Wiseman, and mission specialist Christina Koch sitting on the edge of one of the helicopters, looking in great spirits on the flight deck. I'm sure, as well as that familiar smile and laugh from Victor. I can see it from here. Christina, I'm sure, feeling the same way, just above them, a little bit by our camera here, but we'll see her here shortly. Reid looking good as he takes his steps, taking their pictures towards the medical bay. Victor saluting folks on the flight deck. They look like they're in great spirits. Happy to be home, I'm sure. See our 4 Artemis II crew members. If you're sitting at home, on the ship, I hope again now you too are wondering, what would you want to ask them? Head into medical bay. If you got a chance to talk to them, because that is what I'm thinking about. By flight surgeons from both NASA as well as the Canadian Space Agency, or ask questions of these 4 astronauts who just made history assessment as the first crew to return to the moon since when they get to medical bay. They will each have their own nurse. They will be helped out of their suits, and then again we'll check to see that they're feeling good, make sure it's not just adrenaline, but that they are feeling good. Christina there, from their long journey back from the moon. Finally peering out, waving at the cameras. Hello to you too, Christina. Yes. Welcome back. Illuminating our flight deck. A loudspeaker announcement on the ship saying, "Welcome home, Integrity." Victor in great spirits. I can't see who he's talking to, but I kind of think that he might be talking to his other two crew members. Artemis Recovery Director Lily